I got loose at my friend's birthday party and kissed a friend just for fun. Now, I'm divorced. I had adventures on a weekend that made me decide to never drink alcohol again. I'm obviously responsible for my own actions, but when I'm drunk, it's like all my decisions are made by a brainless cosmopolitan that wants to go after cute boys. They are right when they say married people shouldn't go to clubs because I did and ruined my life. But maybe it's just me. My name is Alex. I'm a 29-year-old woman and used to be married to Tyler, my 31-year-old ex-husband. We were married for 4 years. We loved each other very much, and our marriage was very easy until the end. We rarely argued and never were one of those couples with unmanageable problems. But we stayed together either way. I met Tyler at my first job after graduating. We were from different departments at the company. It was hard to see him in the office, but my heart fluttered every time he showed up. We started dating a few months before he got a job opportunity in Europe. It was his dream, and I was broken with the news. I secretly desired him for so many months, and when I finally got the guy, they decided to send him to Europe. I cried like a teenage girl for a whole week. I told my friends I would never love again, and we hadn't even said, "I love you," yet. It was a major drama. We kept in contact during these couple of months. Every week, he'd tell me how much he missed me and send pictures of the gifts he bought me there. 2 months after he left, he was back in town for a business trip. He had a meeting in our city and would return to France in 4 days. On his second day back, Tyler showed up at my door saying he couldn't stop thinking about me. Even if I said no, he would stay and beg me to marry him and go to France. I cried out of happiness in front of him and accepted. We lived there for 2 years and came back to our hometown, where we spent another couple of years creating our life together. We always had a lot of friends, and we were fun together, so people actually liked hanging out with us. Tyler wasn't a jealous husband at all. I never had to worry about jealousy breakdowns. That was one of the reasons I chose Tyler. He isn't insecure like all the men I met previously. Let me tell you, having a relationship with a significant other who trusts you is the best. Tyler trusted me, I trusted Tyler, and we lived a very calm relationship. When our friends invited us to parties, most of the time, we'd go together. Tyler liked going to clubs, parties, and drinking, just like me, so we had a lot of fun together. When these events happened, we weren't used to going to social events apart, but Tyler had a work trip on the week of one of our best friend's birthday. She celebrated it at a downtown club, and we already knew he wouldn't be there. He told me to go alone and even helped me choose a gift for her, signing the card saying he was sorry for not being there. He'd unfortunately be very sorry. Our friends are basically raging alcoholics at clubs, and we kept up with their pace, but I wasn't sure I could do it alone. I went to her birthday thinking I'd go home early, but it wasn't that easy with our friends. I followed their spirit and ended up screwing my relationship completely. Our friend Vic, who worked with us in the same office where I met Tyler, had invited a few of our former coworkers. There, I met Josh, who shared the same position at the company and started on the same day as I did. We were very good friends but lost contact after I left the company to go to Europe with Tyler. I found out he was very close to Vic, and it was nice seeing him and catching up. I wish it could have ended there. Between the tequila shots I did with Vic and the multiple cosmopolitans, which apparently were the only thing I knew how to order, definitely made me very out of myself. I was leaving the bathroom when I ran into Josh. He was already with us, so we started talking again. He was hitting on me hard, and we both ignored the very visible golden ring on my finger and kissed. I was so drunk that I couldn't process what was happening at the moment until I did it. I know alcohol isn't the one to blame for this, but there is no absolute way I would have done this if I had just thought for 3 seconds. I never wanted to kiss anyone else ever. Never, in the history of our relationship, had I considered that a good idea. I just had to go to a club alone to break my morals, intensively hooking up with a dude I used to argue with about publicity statistics. How could I have done this? The next day, hungover and embarrassed, I didn't even remember what I had done. A little gift from my lovely friend Tequila and memory loss. A text from my friend Vic triggered the memories from the day before. "Hey sweetie, how are you?" Such a complicated question. "Dylan saw you kissing Josh close to the bathroom yesterday." I asked if it didn't seem like harassment, and he said you were very involved in the action, whatever that means. Then I asked if he was sure it was you, to which he answered saying it was the same clothes, same hair, same tattoos. I try to have your back, girl, but you could have been more discreet. Do you have new agreements with Tyler about getting involved with other people? Never thought you two would be the kind to open the relationship. Is it actually more fun either way? Not here to judge you, in case my assumptions are wrong. You know, Dylan and Tyler are very close, best friends, and whatever Dylan is definitely talking about it with him eventually. So if you're hiding something from Tyler, I suggest you tell him before Dylan does. I guess it's better if he heard it from you. Just wanted to let you know as a friend. If you need to talk or tell me the whole gossip, I'm totally here. Thanks for coming to my birthday. Beautiful. Love you. I almost broke my phone in my own head. I couldn't believe I had put myself in that situation. What the hell was I going to tell Tyler? I had no idea what to do. He was coming home at the end of the day, and I had to drop the bomb before Dylan, his actual best friend, did. God, I was screwed. I spent the entire day anxious. The hours were passing, and the only thing that changed was me shaking even more as it got close to the time. I drove to the airport, barely able to control the steering wheel. I couldn't calm down, and I'd rather throw the car off the bridge than have to pick him up and tell him. I stopped the car in the airport parking lot and started crying immediately. I couldn't bring myself to get out of the car. I just kept staring at nothing through the window and crying. Tyler texted me, saying he had just landed and would meet me in the parking lot because it was too cold and he didn't want me to walk outside. He thought of my well-being, even being in another city for 3 days. And I didn't even think before being unfaithful to him. I deserved to be out in the cold, but he didn't know that yet. I sent him a picture of the sign outside the car, which said the parking lot sector I was in. I sat and waited for him, as if I was in line for the final judgment on the day of mine. There will definitely be mentions of the husband I cheated on. I jumped in my seat when I heard him open the passenger's door. He opened the biggest smile on his face when he saw me. At that moment, I already felt like crying. He said, "Hello," and pulled me in for a passionate kiss. He then hugged me and said, "I miss my girl so much. I love you." I couldn't hold back my tears while he had his arms around me. He looked at me scared and asked me what was wrong. I just said I missed him a lot. I pulled myself together while we talked and got ready to drive off from the airport. I had no idea how I was going to pretend things were fine until we got home. At least it was dark, and he couldn't actually notice my guilty expression. When we got to the highway, he noticed the car's wheels were shaking because I was shaking. I could feel his look burning on me while he tried to understand what was going on. "Are you okay, love? You look anxious," he said. I took a long and desperate breath when he said that and replied, "It's nothing. We can talk about it at home." I noticed him frowning, but he kept quiet. He started checking his texts on his phone, and when I thought he'd get distracted, he jump-scared me with a question, "How was Vic's party?" I turned my head at him and stared at him so deeply that I let the car go to the opposite track, only noticing when he yelled my name. I quickly turned the wheel and came back on the right track. "Alex, stop the car now. You're not okay." I pulled over quietly and started crying as I turned the car off. "What happened, babe?" "You can tell me anything," he said. The more he talked, the more I cried. I turned to him, said, "I'm sorry," and started crying again. He was terribly confused but didn't say anything. He kept his hand on my shoulder and had an understanding look on his face. "Hey," I said. I needed to tell him something I was very ashamed of. He didn't seem to think it was anything serious and probably thought I was exaggerating when I finally told him what happened at Vic's party. I saw his eyes losing all the feelings and sparkles I was used to noticing. He looked at me with zero expression on his face, then turned to the front and stared at the road ahead. I finished talking, and he kept himself in silence, while I kept expecting some type of reaction to come out of him. "Dee, can you take me to my parents?" "I don't want to talk about this today," I said, actually suggesting, "Let me drive." He let go of his seatbelt, probably thinking he didn't want to die because of his crazy driver, his cheater wife. I left and got in the passenger side, while I tried to catch any other reaction in his face. I couldn't. He just drove silently for 20 minutes to our apartment, unlocked the doors, and waited for me to get out of the car. "Can't you just yell at me now?" I asked, my voice filled with tears. He ignored me and kept his head straight. I got the message and left the car. I stood there watching him leave for his parents, knowing I had just killed all the love and trust he felt for me during the night. I just rolled over and over in bed. I couldn't sleep for nothing. Between crying and thinking about Tyler, I got at my best 3 hours of sleep. I got up around 8 o'clock in the morning. When I got to the kitchen, on the table were my car keys, Tyler's copy of the key to the apartment, and a letter with my name on it. I can't say what I was thinking at that moment because it was basically curse words directed at myself. I couldn't believe he chose to do it this way. He could have yelled and given me the chance to humiliate myself and beg him to stay with me, but he didn't. He just walked in silently on our apartment and left me a letter. I could kind of imagine what was on it. I ate breakfast while I talked on the phone with Vic. I didn't even text her back, so that's when I explained everything that had happened. She said she'd update me on anything she heard about Tyler and asked me to call her again once I read the letter. I was trying to open it, but my body froze every time I touched the letter. I took a deep breath and faced my demons. Here's what he said in the letter. "Hello, Alex. This is coming from Tyler. I spent the night awake thinking about our conversation. I felt this is the best way to do this. This way, I can explain exactly what I'm feeling without letting you make me doubt my decision. I called Dylan when I got to my parents. You said he knew about it, and you wanted to tell me what happened before he did. Thank you for your honesty. Talking to him just made me sad, so I decided to try to get some sleep. It didn't work. That's why I'm writing this letter to you. You were honest about your mistake, so I'm being honest with you now because I owe it to you as your husband. You deserve to know how I'm feeling. This letter is my last offer of vulnerability. I hope you understand all my reasons. In our vows, we promise to be faithful and honest to each other. These vows are a very important part of a marriage, a part one didn't even question or think about until now. I always trusted you to the fullest. I promised myself I wouldn't be a toxic husband who is always tracking you and controlling every move or decision you make. It wasn't an effort to trust you. I just did it naturally because I loved you. You loved me too, so I knew you weren't sneaking behind my back. I know you didn't plan on this and that you had never done that before. You practically having a panic attack while driving just because you couldn't tell me at that moment proved to me you wouldn't be able to lie or have an affair. But you still did something which hurt me more than I could express. Here, I love you so much, Alex. You were an amazing wife, but I can't do this anymore. I idealized all the future years of my life with you. I pictured us having our first kid together, while you freaked out about being a mom. I would calm you down and show you it's okay not to know things because it is our first time. I saw us seeing our kids graduate, us in our 70s, going to the doctor together, and making each other take our medication. God, I had so much hope for our future. You could have done worse. There are 1,000 ways you could have hurt me more. Maybe a kiss isn't the worst kind of cheating. Maybe it's even forgivable. We could even try to stay together. But no, Alex, I don't want us to go through this. Even if I said it was fine and tried, I would never trust you again. Every time you left the house, I'd wonder, what if? She can't control her impulses. She did it once. Nothing can prove she won't do it again. Thinking about it, nothing could have proved you would or wouldn't cheat on me. This is the same thing in every single relationship. The only thing keeping people in relationships at ease, knowing their spouses won't cheat on them, is trust. There's nothing I can try to do if I don't trust you. What am I supposed to do? Lock you in our room and just let you out when you're with me? I promise you, Alex, never in my life will I be that kind of person. I'd rather end a relationship with dignity than having to obsess over every move you take. Life is too short for that. You could say I can learn how to trust you again, but I shouldn't have to learn something natural of a relationship, especially something that got lost because of your actions. Even with everything I'm saying, I do not believe the decisions you made at Vic's party define you as a person. It was a mistake, just one. I can't forgive. I'm sorry for saying this over a letter. Either way, we'll have to see each other during our divorce, so you'll be able to see me if that's what you want. I'm not forgiving you. Don't consider this a closure letter. Well, it is, but only to me. I need to heal for a few weeks, so please don't look for me or call me. When I'm ready, I'll send you the divorce papers. Goodbye, Tyler. I finished the letter like I expected, crying desperately. He ended 4 years of marriage through a letter, but I guess I ended 4 years of marriage in a downtown club. That was the worst part. Everything he said was reasonable and not petty at all. I think it would be easier if he was a huge jerk about it. I don't know why exactly, but I decided to go after him. I didn't expect him to go back to me, but I felt the need to fight for us, and that was my last chance. I took a shower, got my car keys, and drove straight to his parents' house. I was thinking about what to say on the way there. He was right in absolutely everything, but I love him and regret what I did to the point I can't rationally understand the ending of this relationship. His mother opened the door for me and said he was asleep in his old room. She mentioned he told them we had a fight, but didn't say why. I appreciated that. If he had told them, she'd never have opened the door for me. I knocked on his door, then I heard him ask for his mom, thinking it was her at the door. When I opened, I saw him wearing only a towel around his waist, fresh out of the shower with his eyes red. I could tell he was crying. "What are you doing here, Alex?" he asked with a tired voice. It was my last chance. I sat with both my knees on the ground right in front of him. I don't remember my exact words, but it was something close to this. "Tyler, please listen to me. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I made the biggest mistake of my life, and I'm losing the person I love the most because of that. I wish I could delete that night or go back in time to do it right and stop that event from happening. I read your letter. You're right in absolutely everything. I completely agree with you. But I can't live without you, please. You don't have to learn how to trust me again. Let that effort be mine. I screwed up. I deserve to fight it forever. I'll conquer your trust. I'll do everything for you to understand. I'll never in my life do this again. I was extremely drunk that day. I can't blame the drinking, but I promise you I'll never have a sip of alcohol again. I'd even join a religion very much against drinking and cheating for you to see how serious I am about this. You can kiss someone else for us to be childishly even if you want to do it in front of me. It's fine. I need you to understand this was a stupid mistake. I wasn't in the right condition to make any decisions or even consent to anything. I'm sorry, Tyler. I don't care how many times I'll have to say it for you to love me again. You can throw this in my face every time we argue. It's fine. You're the most mature and thoughtful person I ever met, and I know I sound crazy to you right now, but I love you. I can't rationally think about this when all my emotions are influenced by my love for you. Please, I beg you to consider the emotions in you that still love me. Think about everything we've been through together. I love you, and I know you love me too, Tyler. Please, I said all that while crying intensely. He let a few tears escape, and I could tell he was affected by what I said. I thought I had it. He seemed to be considering my words, but he just took a deep breath and said the words I'll always remember. Exactly. I can't do it, Alex. I told you. Please don't make this harder than it already is. I love you, but you need to let me go. Also, don't ever repeat those words to any man in your life if you do. Your life will only be about being controlled by an abusive jerk. Don't take your value down like that, please. Alex, go away. 5 days later, I received the divorce papers. There wasn't anything in the agreement which would harm any of us, so I signed and got rid of it as soon as I could, just like that. My amazing and beautiful marriage ended. My apartment had no more trace of Tyler. It was like he never existed, but I lived with this massive black hole in my soul where everything he made me feel used to be. Update that I ended things a little loopy the last time I wrote to you guys here. I was so depressed, I could barely end the story properly. I shared my experience for anyone who reads it to learn from my mistake. I wish I could even ask you for advice, but there was literally nothing I could do to get Tyler back. I got comments from people supporting me and wishing I found my way again by myself. Some others were very mean, but I can't even fight you for it because a lot of them were right. Yes, I did in fact stop drinking. I don't know if it's a permanent decision, but when I get into a relationship again, I'm definitely retiring from drinking, just in case. Please don't make stupid mistakes like I did, even if it means quitting something actually harmful like drinking. It has been 2 months since Tyler and I got divorced. I'm actually doing better. I hadn't seen him since my humiliation at his parents' house, but some friends we had in common told me he was doing fine after being extremely upset with our divorce. He got his life back together and was doing great. I finally understood I had broken his heart. It was a side of Tyler I didn't know, but it was definitely something he wouldn't have been able to ignore. I guess it's hard to fix it when someone breaks it so hard. I hope he can find peace about our end. I don't want to wish he finds someone special because when that happens, I know it will be a great pain for me. I hope you guys don't ever do the same as I did. Let me tell you, you will pay for it because the pain is horrible. I'm definitely having my karma. Please don't give yours a reason to get in your life. That's all I can give you as advice.